Sponsored by Kia.
I am the spy. Before the play, I am the raindrop out at sea. I cause the ripples that become the crashing wave. I am the rain.
Yeah, we finished with rain yesterday. This morning we have sunshine. So let's make the most of that while it lasts. England have a mission this morning. They know they need early wickets. Steve Smith, though, has been the immovable object every time he's played in the series. In the commentary box right now, we have Michael Atherton and Nasser Hussain.
After a bleak, blustery day in Manchester yesterday, conditions much better for all concerned. On day 2 at Old Trafford, the series tied 1-1 with 2 to play. Australia need just one more win to retain the Ashes. Joe Root trying to feed off Headingley. Try and go hard on this second morning. They were poor yesterday, England. They're going to have to push hard and try and get a couple of early wickets here on day 2. It's a good surface, probably the best in the series. It's still pretty slow. Plenty to play for. As ever, Steve Smith is in the middle. He's 60 not out. Travis Head, a little cameo yesterday, 18 off just 17 deliveries. Partnership that's already worth 26. Smith was quite brilliant yesterday. No signs of any kind of effect from that blow, the concussion that kept him out of the Headingley Test match. Back, normal service resumed. A lot of discussion would have gone into the planning this morning, which ends for the 2 big lads, Broad and Archer. Whether you should start with Broad and Archer, or whether you'd go Broad and Overton and Archer follow Broad. That wind is still there. So is Steve Smith. 2 slips, a gully, a leg gully, and 2 men out on the leg side. Edged away and well fielded, saved the boundary. It's a good start from Broad. Michael Atherton, who would you go for this morning?
Broad from this end. He was the best of England's bowlers yesterday, and this is where he got his wickets. And desperate to get Smith early, and a left-hander. Head is in, so you've got to start with Broad, and I think I'd go with Archer. He said there's a bit of breeze this morning, but it's nowhere near as strong as it was yesterday, so you've got to give Archer a chance to atone for what were 2 modest spells yesterday.
That's a loose shot. You don't see that a lot from Steve Smith. Get him early, vulnerable early. He's cross with himself. That's a poor shot.
Well, no matter how good you are, you've got to get in again and start the next day. This was a misjudgment, a rare one from Smith, who doesn't normally get drawn into playing on that line.
Very difficult yesterday for the crowd to get behind England, the England fans anyway. It was so cold, they were wrapped up. Amazing how many stayed throughout the day. Great effort from them. Better today, the atmosphere will be a lot better, and England have to lift them.
Split loyalties yesterday for the locals, Nas, with the club playing the knockout blast game up in Durham as well.
They were knocked out of the knockout game against the mighty Essex.
They were.
Broad was ticking yesterday because he had to abort his run up a couple of times because of crisp packets and detritus blowing across the ground. I don't know what the issue here is. Here is umpire Darren Sainer going. Something blowing in the breeze that he's not happy with.
He's off.
Someone behind that gate. I know he's got good eyes, Steve Smith, but he can see through a gate.
Got X-ray eyes. Secrets to greatness, X-ray eyes.
Something reflecting. You are hearing it might be the sun reflecting off the windscreen of that van there. You don't get a lot in Manchester. Sun, that is, not vans. Oh, someone's got to hold that all day.
Is any window wipers on? And then turn them off when in the upright position.
Now, can the Sky van get England a wicket? It's what he did well yesterday. Michael Atherton did a piece on Third Man about how they've stopped swaying out of the way, especially to Archer, who nips it back in. Both him and Labuschagne were ducking and getting offside of it. Forecast better today, still very cool out there. There are some odd showers this afternoon, but a much better forecast today. Tomorrow morning's not great. And the weekend is a good forecast, sunny both Saturday and Sunday. Off the mark. Day 2, he moves to 61, and he'll keep the strike, Steve Smith, 171 for 3. Opportunity for England with batsmen to come. Wade since Edgbaston, the 100 he got there, is short of runs. Payne short of runs throughout the series. The 4 bowlers can bat. Run rate's good, healthy. Touching 4 runs and over. We debated who it would be. Probably Archer for 3 or 4. And then he will switch to Brian Statham end and have the wind on his back a little bit more. A good nut. First up, seamed away.
Yeah, the second one now that has beaten Smith to the outside edge, and both just moved fractionally off the seam. Just began to go in the air and then carried on off the seam. Good ball. an eye on Archer's speeds. He was generally in the early mid-80s yesterday rather than 90 plus.
Shot. Really nice. Off the back foot. He played quite a few of those yesterday. Shot he played to get to 50 was extravagant, but because he's hanging back to Archer, he doesn't transfer his weight, but his hand-eye coordination is brilliant.
Yeah, the first boundary hit of Archer yesterday was exactly that shot, almost hanging back as if he's waiting for the short ball. As you say, he's got very good hands through the ball. And with Smith, it's never a case of what it looks like, it's just the effectiveness and efficiency of the stroke that counts to him.
Oh, in the air. Just past Archer. I think he got a finger to it. It was a low full toss. It'll be back-to-back boundaries, I think, for Smith. Yeah, it just creeps over.
Yeah, Archer did get a fingertip to it, but the fact that it still went for 4 shows you that Smith hit it pretty sweetly. Strange delivery, strange result. Odd cricket all round, really. You don't often see an opening bowler low full toss, and because Smith's got his weight back, that's why it went in the air. And Archer is such a good athlete. Recount some catches off his own bowling that he's taken in the Big Bash, which have been outstanding.
It's been an eventful start to day 2, especially with Smith. Every single ball. That was nearly a drag on. It's hyper at the crease at the best of times, Steve Smith. A little bit all over the place this morning. Travis Head back in if the ball had gone onto the stumps? No. So many dismissals possible. A delay because the crowd sitting in front of the sight screen at that end.
Says that he doesn't sleep during a test match, doesn't he, Steve Smith? Did he say to you he averages 2 or 3 hours a night only during a test match?
I thought it was because of nerves. He does it because of excitement. He'd have been excited about batting today.
One and the same thing, really, isn't it? It's the game impacting upon you and your normal rhythms of sleep and where you go about things.
Well, it's doing a bit. It's nibbling. 180 for 3.
Well, he had a sketchy start yesterday, Travis Head. I reckon he was beaten half a dozen times to the outside edge, just like this. Balls that he can probably leave alone, both in this instance on length and line. He's just having a nibble at. Never looks a great starter, Travis Head. He looks like the kind of player that when he gets in, it's going to be hard to get out. But right at the start of his innings, never looks a particularly good starter.
Eight Ashes 50s in a row now for Steve Smith. Most consecutive 50s against a single opponent. Smith is there, Sangakkara, Callis, Clive Lloyd and Inzi. Good photos there. Look at Clive there. Played his cricket here for Lancashire for a long time. Hubert Lloyd.
I reckon Clive ended that run with 100 here on what you'd call his home ground at Old Trafford against England in 1984. Seem to remember watching that as a kid and willing him on right at the end of his career.
Let's see if your memory's any good. Benedict, is he right?
1984 Old Trafford Test, Benedict. Clive Lloyd 100 against England.
He was out for one.
When he got 100 here against England.
He once got 100 here, yes.
Maybe it was 86. No, after that. After that. Oh, look,
Not at this ground.
1986.
Good example of why Broad has been good in this series, actually. How full again he's bowled on this second morning. People have been critical of Broad, of bowling back of a length. Pitching it up, getting rewards.
Stuart Broad's fellow podcaster, Stephen Fry.
That was the last over of Broad. He just tucks it away and he'll keep the strike. 181 for 3. Just building steadily here at Old Trafford, England, as they have done throughout the series, trying to get the ball changed. Was changed yesterday. Spike mark appeared on it. Overton stood on it. Changed. This one this morning has actually just seamed a little bit. Like that. Just nibbling. His stop ball is the nip backer. That's what he's done today.
Well, that's the example that you're talking about, Nasser, of him trying to get offside of the bouncer to let it go over his left shoulder rather than at Lord's, where he got a bit caught trying to sway out of the way. And Ricky Ponting made the good point yesterday. Because all Smith's weight is going across to the offside, then it becomes very difficult for him to sway. That's a much better way of getting out of the way of Archer's bouncer.
That's what Langer said about Smith. He's a great problem solver, so that's how he seems to have solved that problem. That was good bowling as well from Archer, because if you go further outside off, it then becomes slightly harder to just duck out the way. Then you do have to sway. So Archer just almost followed him wider of off stump. Smith stood up and played it. Problem for Archer is that, you know, the balance between the skills and the pace, and I know you can get both together, but I think Archer wants to show the world that he's a skillful bowler, as he did at Headingley. Cut his pace down, got 5-wicket haul there. Whereas a lot of England fans want to see the pace constantly 90+ mile an hour. He says, well, I'm skillful as well, I can nibble it around.
I think the problem yesterday, Nas, was it was neither one thing nor t'other. I think everybody would feel that there were justifiable excuses for England's performance yesterday, given the gales and the blustery nature of the conditions and the cold and the rain. But at 20 for 2, with the Ashes at 1-all, that is an opportunity that you sense as a captain and as a team. And those opportunities might not come round again. So you better grab them when they come. And England didn't yesterday, and they live to regret it.
Well, he's been much better today. With skill and aggression, 181 for 3.
Glorious north, Nats.
And Old Trafford as well. Broad's going to start around the wicket to Travis Head. Travis Head struggles from around the wicket. I've been looking at some stats from CricViz. Around the wicket he averages 22. Over the wicket he averages 73 against the seamers. So there's a huge discrepancy, and England have noted that. Both seamers have started round the wicket to him. And Broad and Archer, good bowlers, 2 left-handers as well.
It is noticeable at the moment just how much more effective Broad especially is to the left-handers. He's got 2 at the top of the order to have a crack at. He's got David Warner in his pocket this series for sure. The 5th time that he'd dismissed him yesterday. Got Marcus Harris at LBW as well, both from the angle that he's now bowling from, round the wicket. That combination of the angle, which will bring the ball in, but his ability as well to straighten it up to the slips makes him so tricky.
They thought about 2.
I think at the last minute, Head might have remembered that Leach throws the ball right-handed. Left arm spinner, of course, Leach, but unusual in that he throws the ball right-handed. He got that throw away quickly.
Oh, now close, very close. Given. Just asking Steve Smith. Once the decision's given on the field, he thinks it's going down. It's not. He walks off. Head around the wicket again. Broad to left-handers again.
Yeah, we showed you Warner and Harris yesterday. It's Head now from that same angle. Broad is dynamite against the left-handers from round the wicket in this series. Question for Head was about the line of the ball, whether it would have gone on to miss leg stump. In the end, he didn't review, gone for 19, 183 for 4.
They're not the only fireworks you'll see today. Australia 4 down. Matthew Wade, another left-hander for Stuart Broad to attack from round the wicket. Broad has 3 now. Wade needs a score. Australia need a score from him.
The thing that the umpire has got to factor in is where Broad is bowling from. Round the wicket, quite wide on the crease. And therefore, when it hits the batsman, it's going to carry on that angle. Even there, that looks so close, doesn't it, in real time, but it shows that it's only just clipping leg stump. So the umpire has to be very careful, give great consideration to the line. That's why I was actually a bit surprised Head didn't review it, because you lose the review if it's umpire's call in any case.
Wade off the mark. Broad has been brilliant in this series. 184 for 4.
Yeah, Australia's selectors have been concerned about the number of left-handers in their lineup. It's almost the reverse problem to what England had 2 winters ago, and they were worried about all the left-handers to Nathan Lyon. England had 5 left-handers, I think, in the top 7, because they had Malan and Moeen Ali down under, and Lyon had their number. This time Australia have got Harris and Warner, Head and Wade, split up by the right-handers Labuschagne and Smith, who've looked far more comfortable against Broad.
Of course, the lad they left out, Khawaja, is a left-hander as well, so it's an issue. Bancroft started the series, and Archer doesn't mind bowling at left-handers either. Ball that nips into the right-hander, takes it away to that slip cordon. followed him. Didn't know whether to sway or duck. That short. Up turning his back on it, turning his head on it.
He's not wearing an arm guard. Smith is wearing an arm guard at the other end. You can just see it in shot there. A very small arm guard that he's put on since he took that blow at Lord's to the arm.
Oh, edged. Doesn't carry, I don't think. Maybe Roy for a second thought about going across. 186 for 4. Turned him round, edged it. Didn't carry. You can see Roy there looking. Shall I go? Shall I not? Couldn't really go.
Well, it says something here at Old Trafford when you've got a bowler of Archer's pace, and that was a genuine edge from Wade, not carrying to first slip. That would be unusual. A delivery of 89 miles an hour. You'd expect that edge to carry here at Old Trafford any day of the week. But no.
Now, Stuart Broad said this morning, didn't he? It's a slow Old Trafford pitch. And that edge confirming that from Archer. Well, England won't mind that for a little while. Get Wade on strike to Broad, who's firing. Slip's just come up a yard. Stokes comes up a yard at third slip. He's buying a ticket. Bairstow does well. Keep Wade on strike. Keep the pressure on. Booming drive again. Brilliant lengths from Broad. Brilliant lengths.
Length combined with late movement as well. You're just not quite sure as a left-hander with Broad which way the ball is going to go. Is he going to keep coming in? Is it going to straighten up as it did there? You've got to watch for the seam. That will give you a clue. Watch for the shine. But it's not easy to see.
Again, no singles in that ring. Get in tight. As many deliveries to Wade as possible here. Point mid-off, mid-on, square leg. Wade looking just to drop and run. Gets out of the way of that one eventually. 188 for 4. Michael Holding.
Thank you, Nas. I'm going back to the thorn in England side again. Stephen Smith. I've been adamant that the way to bowl the Stephen Smith is outside the off stump all day, all night, today, tomorrow, next week. Have a look at these deliveries earlier on today. First ball of the day, outside edge, fell short of the man in the slip corner, and yes. And then have a look at this again. He's just flashing at a ball outside the off stump again. Archer beating him outside the line of off stump. But yet, the field that we have seen for both Archer and Broad has 4 men on the onside. You can see them. Fine leg, deep square leg, leg gully, deepish, mid-on. Why set that field? Because Smith has been scoring a lot of runs through the onside. If you look at his wagon wheel, you see the amount of runs he has scored through the onside. But if you bowl that line outside the line of off stump, you can't score through there. We'll get back to that after this ball. And if we go look at the wagon wheel again, you see that he has driven a few balls through the offside before. But if you had that extra man on the offside, he could have prevented those balls from going through extra cover for 4. So in my opinion, you still need to be bowling outside Smith's off stump. Forget the onside. Let him try and work it through the onside, and he may create a problem. You either get him out or frustrate him.
Good, Mike. Yeah, it is a bit of a captaincy conundrum because you set the field to where he scores. I think early on in the series, Athers and Wardy at the cart showed that he can get balls from outside off on length to the leg side. On length he gets it.
Don't bowl short. The short should be bouncers, not short of a length. And he can't get it through the mid-wicket region for a ball that's a reasonably well pitched up delivery outside off stump, as we saw those 3 deliveries that were shown.
Yeah, it is the conundrum. You're telling your bowlers to bowl in one spot and giving the field on the other side for where he scores. But this is much better from England today. They had a poor day yesterday. Not ideal conditions to bowl, but much better from Archer in particular. Broad was very good yesterday first up. Away, no third man, that'll be 4.
As an unusual shot, you can see Smith replaying it there. It wasn't a cut shot, wasn't quite a back foot force. The key was that he played it late and therefore played it down into the ground behind square. No fielders there because of the point that Michael Holding makes, that because Root has set 4 men on the leg side, then there are gaps on the offside for Smith, even though that's not an area where he plays too frequently.
Pops up above 90 mile an hour, 91. Archer getting going.
A few words, weren't there, from both these players before the game. Smith said he hasn't got me out. He might have hit me and hurt me. He hasn't got me out. At the moment, he's right.
Great contest. Archer fired up. Smith an absolutely immovable force at one end. 193 for 4. .193 for 4. Change up here. Ishas with Beefy.
Thanks, Nas. Sun's out. England are fired up. Full house. Can't ask for much more after that debacle yesterday with the weather. Good running. Yesterday you've got to feel sorry for the people that come and get 40 overs. On, off, some heavy showers. And today, might just get the odd shower if we're unlucky. We've been dressed like that yesterday. Australian supporters. Lots of them over. Just gusting there. Just hang on a second.
Good morning to you, Ian. Good morning, everyone. England very much coming back today with a lot of intent. Stuart Broad with the wicket. Jofra Archer just upping his pace. He's up to 88, 89. After starting at about 82. Creating some movement off the pitch.
I was a bit surprised at the pace he bowled at prior to this morning. Never saw it, never picked it up. It's good running, quick running. No hesitation. Smith wanted to get back down there. Jack Leach had a bit of ground to make.
You're looking to anticipate based on the shot that's played. Just didn't see it at all at leg gully. Stokes.
Ben Stokes, one of the best fielders, not just in the England side, but world cricket. Didn't move, never saw it, never picked it up.
Still blustery conditions, but not as severe as it was yesterday. I think Jofra Archer and James Anderson end, there was a bit of a crosswind. And Joe Root took him off after 5 overs. It's a bit of an anticlimax, wasn't it, Ian? Just the 7 deliveries that Steve Smith, he's had a bit more of an opportunity today and just ramping it up.
I'm not happy with this ball. Shown to the umpires on many occasions. And if it falls through that hoop, just get on with it. Off you go. They'll keep trying.
Yeah, the ball was changed yesterday after 26 overs. Craig Overton getting a spike on the back of the ball. Not getting any swing with it now. There was a little bit of shape on offer for Broad around the wicket to the left-hander. Very much using the short ball a little bit more this morning session.
Change of angle. This is a bad idea. Push it across Steve Smith, give him something else to think about. Also, he might just expose that leg stump a bit more. Tempter, but ignored. 196 for 4. Good overs from Stuart Broad. Picked up the wicket head. LBW. 5 overs for 10 runs and that wicket. Geoffrey Archer 4 overs for 16 runs. Much better from England. Just the whole body language. You think they're out there to do battle. Not easy on a day like yesterday, but you've still got to give it everything you've got. Three slips, gully, backward point, extra cover, the offside.
That's how he was dismissed at Headingley, Matthew Wade. In Australia's first innings, Archer coming around the wicket. Unlucky from his point of view, it just rolled onto the stumps. But England will definitely see this as an opportunity. They've got rid of Travis Head, Matthew Wade, and then it's really a case of removing the batsman around Steve Smith. Although Smith has looked a little bit more uncomfortable against Archer in his morning session.
I realised he had a wicket there for a split second, thinking about the LBW shout. Rolled onto the stump. Good bouncer finished the over. Sorry, third ball of the over, sorry. But, that was quick. And he had to move, and he moved well. Avoided it, watched it.
That's what Matthew Wade would have been hoping for. It was the last ball of the over. He's got 3 more to face.
Yeah. I saw the umpire wandering off, and I thought it must be the end of the over. There you go. It's a pretty slow deck. Geoffrey Archer winding it up a bit today, which is good to see. It's all very well doing it at 84, but then you do it at 90. It happens that much quicker, and batsmen can't adjust. Cuts down their thinking time. It's the advantage of being a quick bowler. So it's a little frustrating at times when you watch him coming in at 84 miles an hour, 82 miles an hour, and almost he's just trying to seam it around. Well, keep on saying it. Bowl that quick, make the most of it.
Final ball of the over, 197 for 4 as Stuart Broad gets a left-hander on strike.
Excellent figures. 3 for 45. Pitch is not giving him a great deal of help.
Very much stood up in this series in the absence of James Anderson. Would have been a big blow ahead of this game, knowing that Anderson would not feature in this Ashes. So it's Broad having to take on that responsibility as the senior man. Bowling from the opposite end, the James Anderson end.
Good line, probing line. So batsman plenty to think about, and the length is the important thing for me. The length, excellent.
Just comes so naturally to him, that lovely wrist position, gets it going away from the left-hander. Loves the lefty, Beefy.
Good shot. Took over a couple, I think, here. You don't mind being driven, though. When you're getting that little bit of away movement, you've got to give the batsman something that he thinks he can get away with and attack. And that's when you usually surprise him. A little bit of movement. He's hit that on the up. So he's taking a chance. Okay, there's that movement.
Averages 13 to left-handers. He's definitely got David Warner's number. But that ball that comes back in as well makes it so difficult knowing what to play, what not to play. Always angling in the top of off.
Excellent piece of fielding. Easy for a man standing 6.5 feet tall. Does well here.
Astonishing difference, isn't it? 13 the average against left-handers, or 12 wickets against right-handers. 47 that average goes up to.
Ball looks in pretty good nick from the shine point of view, and something's bugging them with it. Orthodox away swing.
Just stuck that square leg back out to the boundary just to put it in Wade's mind. Might come the short ball. I think he'll stick with the pitching it up and the shape on the ball. A little bit ominous over the point at the moment.
Another good over, 99 for 4. Overs this morning so far, 1 for 29. Over 8 a little slow, but I suppose the wind. Stuart Broad is determined to get this ball changed. Asmus is one of the better umpires. You can have a chat with him, conversation, listen. Still very much runs the show out there, senior umpire. And I think possibly the best around at the moment.
The ICC limits I'm saying they've got to be wrong.
Not the ICC, the MCC.
Well, it's the same thing. They're both bollocks, aren't they?
Plenty back of a length and short of a length. You see Mr. Smith this morning. That's what Mikey Holding was talking about. Firstly, the line, getting it outside the off stump. Just wonder if they could have got a few a bit fuller as well. .200 up for Australia.
Angled down through that gully region. I think it's going to win the race. It does. 4 more.
Not going hard at it, just waiting on it. Matthew Wade playing it late. Just guides it down. These two with a 100 partnership in the Australian second innings at Edgbaston. An important one to just set up the game. That run rate hovering at about 3.66 at the moment. Slightly better line.
Matthew Wade played that pretty well. No ball. Well, very confident appeal. Thinking hard about it. One review left, and I think no. I think that might just be the right decision.
I think the sound of the bat swiping through the air. This will confirm things.
He's got nothing to confirm, apart from the fact that he's missed it. It didn't look right to me. And it's, yeah, must have heard something. Leg buys. The over, an eventful over. 209 for 4. Bowling change. Jack Leach is back in the attack. I was surprised he didn't bowl more yesterday. I thought he looked as threatening as anybody. Got some turn, caused a few problems. Just see how ball pitch does look very dry, which is remarkable that anything's ever dry in Manchester. But Bumble's not here. It was wasted, that comment.
Apart from the bars.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Big moment for Jack Leach. Just get a little bit of purchase. That's all he's looking for. And then he can, if nothing else, he can tie an end up for his captain. And if he picks up wickets, it's a real bonus. But I think he's could be a real threat on here. The wind is in the right direction for him, so he's going to get that drift in, and then hopefully a bit of turn away.
Yeah, there was some appreciation from Steve Smith yesterday about the way Leach bowled, just hovering on that line of off stump and the odd one turning. As you say, the odd one just drifting in.
I think Jack Leach is now trying to claim all-rounder status. Have it as far as I'm concerned. Well done. Right, he's got short leg and a slip at the moment. It'll be easier for the spinners today. A little easier, not as cold as it was yesterday. It's quite bitter yesterday.
Doesn't wear his glasses when he bowls, Ian. He says that when he's batting, his contacts can sometimes get a bit blurry. God forbid a catch comes back to him when he's bowling.
Getting his field right. Two men out. Strange field. Man about halfway sweep, and there's a man out pretty square on the boundary on the leg side. Short leg, mid wicket, mid on. Quite work out that man at 45. Catch, I don't think so. That was off the middle of the bat, I think. Josh Butler, the man in that position.
Oh, very close, very close. Anticipation from Ben Stokes coming around, and that is why they have that fielder back there for any sort of top edge. Potentially, he does like to sweep.
Yeah, he was in the paddle sweep, this one, wasn't he? And terrific effort. He's gone for it. I think actually it was off the arm, not the glove in the end. Great effort. Anticipation goes, almost gets there, but I'm not sure it actually gloved it. I think it's forearm.
Well, that's one thing we haven't seen yet from Ben Stokes in this series, isn't it? A spectacular catch.
It's coming. Can't keep him out of the game. And the nice thing is that he always wants to be involved, come whatever the circumstances. In the air, but safe, well placed. 4 runs. You don't mind that too much though if you're a spinner. Let him come down, attack you.
Yeah, good use of the feet, but fast hands through the ball to get that away. And the frustration comes, a bit of drizzle in the air.
Bit of encouragement there in that first over for Jack Leach. It's 214 for 4. Time for drinks. We'll take a short break.
They're not the only fireworks you'll see today.
Now, you said moments ago that this pitch will spin. How much, or how quickly, how soon?
Well, you'll get bounce here, and of course, wear and tear in the footholds will bring the spin bowlers in, both spin bowlers, Nathan Lyon and Jack Leach. And he's got the ball. Leach as a finger spinner. He's got it off straight. You can think back to the great wrist spinners, and Shane Warne would spin the ball here, a wrist spinner will do. But the big thing and the key thing here is that the spinner tends to get bounce, and you look at Lyon and he's an overspinner, and so he will get the ball quite naturally to bounce as well. So that brings that 350 for Australia that minimum score, and England should be happy if it's 350. But what they should be saying right now is getting back to captaincy again, to regroup. Right, they've got a break here, they've got to start again. I want your best efforts. I want your really best 4 overs now, right now. Nasser mentioned it yesterday. So we're discussing captaincy, of getting hold of a team and an individual. I want your best right now.
All right, well, very obviously, the players back on the field, covers removed, still overcast, still breezy, but dry. So we can restart with Craig Overton. First bowl of the morning for him. And in the commentary box now, Ricky Ponting and Shane Warne.
Yeah, good news. The rain has stopped and play's going to start. It's going to be Craig Overton to start. We've had 13 overs this morning so far. Steve Smith, a little bit scratchy early. He's on 81. Matthew Wade just started to find a bit of touch. He'll spin from one end and seam from the other. The lights are on here. Some pretty good bowling conditions this morning. The ball's nipped around. I'm just looking around at the field to Steve Smith. There's one slip in a gully and 3 men back on the hook for Overton. So they might go after Steve Smith for some good short pitch bowling. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Shane. Afternoon, everyone. I think we've seen a bit of a change with the way they bowled to Smith anyway this morning. I think they have looked to bowl a lot more aggressively, use their bounces a lot more than they certainly did during the course of yesterday's play. As you say, they got the field set for it as well. There's only the one slip in place and a gully, so you would think that they're not going to try and pitch the ball up much outside that off stump.
Oh, it's real short.
Two short balls already used, so do they now change the field? Can't bowl any more over the shoulder, obviously. Dug in very short from Overton. Field will stay the same.
He's already used the 2 bounces you're allowed to in the over. An easy single. It's interesting to see there was no change in the field. Can't keep bowling that short stuff. Nice easy single to Smith. Looked a little bit edgy this morning as a few play and misses and chased a couple of wide ones that he doesn't normally chase. Inside edge. And once he got through all that, England have reverted to the short stuff.
And I think what they just showed then as well is they're happy to give up that single. That easy single pushed in on the leg side. They're happy to give that up. They want Smith to take on the short ball, try and get him caught out in the deep leg side region. Matthew Wade will now be on strike. A lot more aggressive field to him. 2 slips and almost like a 4th slip in place.
Interesting moment, or interesting phase of the game here. Australia 215 for 4. I think a big partnership here for Australia. They can push on to get 300 plus, 350 plus, where England can take a couple of wickets quickly here and get into that tail. They might be able to restrict Australia for under 300. So it's a big phase in the situation of the game. Labuschagne played well for his 67. Stuart Broad continued to have the wood on David Warner, knocked him over second ball. Now Wade and Smith starting to have a bit of a partnership. Tidy start after the rain break. 58 overs, 215 for 4. Well, as expected, spin from one end, pace from the other. Leach at times has sort of got the odd one to turn and bounce at some good pace. It's always a nice place to bowl here at Old Trafford. There's a bit of pace in the pitch, and bounce is just as important as spin. That's because once the batsman plays, he can't really change his shot with that pace and bounce. Interesting, Smith's a good player of spin. Wade likes to be aggressive against the spinners. The left and right hander in. It's never easy for the spinner. There's enough there to keep him interested, even though we're into day 2.
Yeah, good point you make about the spin, Morning. I spoke to Steve Smith this morning, and he was actually quite surprised that Jack Leach didn't bowl a little bit more yesterday. And he had an interesting take on the wicket as well. He said when they started yesterday, certainly when Steve Smith went out to bat, he said the wicket felt like it came on quite nicely. Then after the rain and went back out, he sort of felt the wicket slowed up. Normally we'd think with a little bit of moisture on the top it'd get a little bit quicker. He thought it got a little bit tackier and slowed up a fraction. He thought Leach might have bowled a few more overs at that stage of the game.
Well, a little half chance there. Steve Smith thought there was an easy single, but Matthew Wade is miles, standing so wide out the way of Smith's eye line at the non-strikers, and that can also cause confusion.
We heard the big call from Smith straight away. Called yes straight away. Matthew Wade wasn't interested at all.
I think it was the right call, wasn't it?
Looked like it. That's one thing Stephen Smith demands as well. He demands that the non-striker is a long way out of his eye line. It's an uncomfortable place for the non-striker to be as well. Trying to pick up angles from there is very difficult.
Good shot. Just a bit too full, and Steve Smith just doesn't miss out on anything that's loose at all. Excellent shot. Oh, well bowled. Nice delivery, good pace, bit of spin and bounce.
I think Leach even surprised himself. He had a big wry smile on his face. Good spin and, as you say, good bounce. Yeah, well bowled. He said, look, well bowled, not much I can do about that.
I tell you what, as a bowler, that would infuriate me. As a batsman, someone that says, well bowled, say, mate, you just worry about your batting, champ. Or along those lines. He's bowled pretty well since he's come into the side, Jack Leach. Looks honest, good bowler, gives the ball a bit of a tweak, puts some revs on the ball. When the conditions suit, can be a bit of a handful. Shot again, there's a man out there. Only be the single. Not a bad over that from Jack Leach. 220 for 4. Oh, Steve Smith's on 87. Well, the partnership's worth 37. England can continue with these tactics of 3 men back on the hook for Overton.
He does take it on. He'll take the short ball on as long as it's not too short. Anything above shoulder height, you'll see Stephen Smith try to control. Gets himself into a position where the bat's in a good position to actually play a pull shot. So England are going to be happy to give up that short single in on the leg side and try and tempt him to take on a short ball. Try and surprise him when the bounces a little bit more. A change of angle now as well from Overton. Going to come around the wicket. Try and push up into that left armpit sort of area of Stephen Smith.
Another interesting tactic now. Overton's going to go around the wicket. He gets himself in some odd positions, Steve Smith.
That's the sort of one there that they're after. You can see that he's just trying to help that on its way. And quite often when you're just trying to dab a pull shot in a defensive sort of manner, it is the one that you miss hit. You tend to get a lot of those on the top edge. Stays around the wicket now to Wade.
No run, no run!
See Matthew Wade hasn't quite got into his groove yet. Has to be just battling a little bit, just fighting himself slightly. He's a naturally aggressive sort of player. Likes to have the scoreboard ticking over. He's been out there for 42 deliveries. Now just the 2 boundaries. This angle's worried Wade right through the series, as it had with most of the Australian left-handers.
221 for 4. Just looking at Steve Smith's batting averages and breaking it down to what specific type of bowler he struggles against. Well, there's not many. The only one there is the left arm orthodox, 35.76, which is someone like Jack Leach who's bowling that sort of style of bowling. But if you think about the left arm spinners he's faced over his career, probably been Jadeja in India, Harath in Sri Lanka. So difficult places to play left arm spin, hence that's why his average is a lot low. I don't think he's got a deficiency against left arm spin, but I think that might have been one of the reasons Leach had come into the side, is maybe we can't get Smith out with quick stuff. Let's have a look at some left arm spin. Oh, bit of natural variation, went straight on that. Missed that, he would have been absolutely plumb.
I was going to highlight that last over. You talked about Jack Leach and getting some good revs on the ball, but he also does get good natural variation. This one here just skidded on. A bit of drift in, skidded on. You can see him in the leg stump behind the pad there as well. Stephen Smith, but as we keep saying, doesn't miss too many, does he?
Just watching Jack Leach, the way he's trying to get Steve Smith out, it looks like he's just trying to hover the ball around that middle and off stump, spinning away with the odd natural variation you talk about. Just looking for him to drive one. Just the odd one, I reckon he might try and slow up. Just a bit like that, but bowl it a bit wider. That time he got it a bit straight. That looks like the tactics how Jack Leach is trying to get Smith out.
Well, it's interesting as well with his bat pad on the offside, isn't it? That says straight away that he's trying to bowl a bit more on and off stump sort of line. He's trying to bowl more in at middle and leg. You'd think that that catcher will be on the leg side. So all Smith will be doing, he'll be just waiting for him to get that fraction straight. We saw him hit a beautiful shot through mid-wicket last over when he did get full and straight. That's the battle, isn't it? Always. Steve Smith will have a game plan sorted out for Leach, and he'll just be patient, try and wear him down and wait for that ball to come.
Matthew Wade normally likes to try and go after the left arm spinner and use his feet or a big slog sweep as well. But England have got mid-on sort of halfway down. They've got a bat pad, as you can see there, but 2 men out on the fence for that big sweep. That's what he likes to normally do. It's in the air. Joe Root is under it. Oh, and he gets it. Matthew Wade is gone. Jack Leach strikes and gets that 5th wicket that they needed.
We just called it, warning. You said he likes to use his feet and try and hit hard down the ground. He tried it on this occasion here. Quite get to the pitch of the ball. It's a thick top edge. Stayed in the air for a long time. Joe Root set himself. So he's got a couple of different caps on as well. He's swirling around in the breeze, but comfortably taken. The big breakthrough for England. Leach is the man that gets it. Matthew Wade on his way for 16.
Great catch. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, the Australian captain comes in at number 7, Tim Payne. 550s, averaging 31. Hasn't got really any score of note in this series so far, but Australia need him now. This was this dismissal. Leach just did Wade in a bit of flight, talking about how he likes to use his feet and go after the spinner. Just got up and under it. Joe Root's got a good pair of hands. He set himself nicely and got it. Matthew Wade disappointing. Good time to strike for England now. 224 for 5. Broke the partnership. Got the skipper in, and now the bowler's next. So a big moment with what have we got left? 30 minutes to go till lunch. Big opportunity now for England to go bang bang.
Cut!
Nice start.
I just called in the over before that I just felt that Matthew Wade was just working hard against himself. End of the over, 224 for 5. You just see that he was battling himself, Matthew Wade. He wasn't scoring against the quicks. Good build-up of pressure from the other end, and it led to this here. Down the wicket he came, didn't quite get to the pitch or into the line of the ball either. Actually hit low towards the bottom of the bat on the top edge. Root sets himself. Very simple catch. You just feel that pressure building up.
Overton again to Smith from around the wicket. Another short one. Now, if they can get Steve Smith out here, England, then right in the game. One slip in a gully. Oh, what about that for a shot? Interesting one. Come on, you're the expert batter. How do you describe that one?
Well, as someone that didn't mind playing that short ball, I couldn't make myself hit it like that. I would be trying to hit that hard and hit it into the gap. But I think with these three guys, you talked about it earlier, Warnie, three guys have had really deep, almost all the way on the fence. That's if Smith's going to show his intent just to play it in that way, then they've got to bring one of those guys in a little bit closer. If he's not going to try and hit the ball hard, there's no way that's going to carry to the guy all the way out in the deep.
Would you have a square leg instead of the three out there so he can't get the single and keep just two out there rather than all three, where he does just get an easy single if he wants to sort of top spin forehand one, roll a hook or a pull there for a single? Maybe bring him up and just stop him getting that one.
I think that's what they're saying, though. I think they're happy to give away the one. Almost only one way they're going to be able to get him out now is if he does actually take that pull shot or hook shot on. Not interested in pitching it up outside off. They've shown that. They've only got the one slip. So they're happy to give away a single and try and work on the new batsman. So they've got Payne on strike now, and straight away an extra slip comes in. Still two on the hook.
Yeah, well, Tim Payne, we talked about Steve Smith getting done with the short stuff. Tim Payne has the odd one too. There's got out to a pull shot. He's had a couple of troubles with some pull shots so far. It's a pretty ordinary series with the bat, averaging 12. That's the 34. Got out to a screamer. Joe Denley caught him at Lords off a pull shot. This is what a time now for him to stand up. 1-all the series. Australia not a little bit of trouble, but an interesting moment in the game. 225 for 5. Batting with Steve Smith, who's on 91. Good time for him to get some here.
And he will take it on as well. He's quite impulsive, or compulsive, as you'd say, with the short ball. He's one of his heavy scoring zones. He's strong square of the wicket on both sides. This is a big partnership in this entire series for Australia. They need their captain to stand up. He's out there with the best player. 225 for 5. It's a good wicket. There it is, straight away. The first short ball that he sees, he has a crack at straight away.
And it was a pretty good one from Overton too. It was right on the money. And we're just talking about the dismissal at Lords and the screamer that Joe Denley. Have a look at this. It's off Archer. Hit it okay, but look at the catch. Late in the day, sun in the eyes. It was a ripper from Joe Denley. Not easy, those. It was a great catch.
Surprisingly, good taste, wasn't he? Got that high on the bat. Does it a lot early in his innings. Even there straight away. The first one he took on hit him on the glove. And that, when you get hitting high on the bat or high on the glove, obviously you're late on the ball. See him bringing his hand at the non-striker's end. He's had all sorts of injury problems with that pointer finger on his right hand.
Third man down there, only be one. The bowler got double teapot, hands on the head, saying, how's he batting this way? Well, he's on 92, and it's 227 for 5.
Come on, Leachy.
Jack Leach to continue. Trying to get Steve Smith to drive. He's causing a few issues out there. He's getting the odd one to turn.
Go!
I'm going to tell you more about it. David Gower and David Lloyd.
Nice, Shane. Just got rid of the finest spinner of all time and employed two batsmen to talk about the spin.
Cut!
There is more of that turn. Forced Stephen Smith just to stretch a bit. Good revolutions on the ball. Plenty of turn. Somehow it's landed safely anyway. Oh dear. Well, he did the right thing. Steve Smith did the right thing. Realised he wasn't there. Hadn't got to the pitch of the ball. Thrust that left leg at it. Made sure there was no way through, no way past. And made sure that he's still there to face the next ball. So evidence of a turn off this pitch. And for that one, Steve Smith has realised, as I say, he didn't quite get there. By the time he does get anywhere near the ball and thrust that pad at it, he's only a metre away from Joss Butler. There's absolutely no chance of intercepting.
Jack.
Well, 2 from the over in the end. 2:29 for 5. Another 93 then for Steve Smith. A couple of 140s in the first match at Edgbaston. 92 at Lords. Game off for concussion and then straight back into the runs again. Much tighter morning, I would say. Stronger element of competition today than there was yesterday. Some interesting fields are being set. Interesting challenges being posed. Easily ducked.
Got the sticks and the bells.
Well, they've got the bells and the pints. Well, he loves the shot. Tim Payne has been ducking under those that have been just that little bit shorter and higher. This one is banged in again, gets up to chest height. 82.1 miles an hour, so not express pace. It's a bit of bounce on the pitch. Again, a couple of singles from the over. This time it's Smith who keeps the strike. 2:31 for 5. Relentless. That's what he is. Absolutely relentless. Unorthodox. but very, very hungry for runs. Tim Payne could do with some as well. He's looked good in the series, but not really made any substantial scores. But Stephen Smith, 144, 142, 92, 94 not out. I don't suppose anyone's betting against him getting 100 at this stage here at Old Trafford.
Good Leachy boy. No! All right, down the middle there, Kumar. About 4 strides. Very good. Good Leachy. Good Leachy boy.
Good steady stuff from Jack Leach. 232.5. Giroud doing a bit of cap sharing. Three for Broad, 1 for Leach, 1 for Overton. Archer none, Stokes none. Saying just now, it has the feel that it's been a tighter contest this morning. A few boundaries here and there, of course, but it's been, I think, a more disciplined approach from England.
Yeah.
Happy to nudge another one away on the onside. Very familiar style of his, getting across and onto the offside of the ball, just happy to use the space out there. And no doubt happy to get to the mark, that 100 mark in ones, if that's what it takes.
63 for 2 this morning. New ball due in 15 overs. 20 minutes or so before lunch, 15 minutes before lunch. Say it, I think we're okay now weather-wise. The defending area is just blue sky away to our left. The lights are on. It's Cagoule weather still. September.
It's Bob Holt. Wry smile from Tim Payne.
thing that's missing for England. They haven't got searing pace in the attack. Good batting surface, easy pace.
Well, the pace, of course, comes from largely one man. And we've talked about looking after him. Don't want to burn him out in a hurry. He didn't bowl with searing pace yesterday morning. He bowled with a bit more pace this morning. Doubtlessly has the ability to do so. But theory being you should just use him in reasonable bursts, reasonable chunks.
We've not seen Ben Stokes this morning. He's the one that they would turn to and say, make something happen.
.233 for 5. Well, let's just recap on the wickets that have gone down this morning. Broad the first to strike. Travis Head the first to go. That goes the finger for LBW. A thought or two about reviewing overcome. Matthew Wade will be ruining this. Joe Root had to steady himself. Could have been swirling in the breeze up there. It went pretty high. And Root relieved to take it. And Wade, as I say, will be considering that might not have been the perfect option at the time. So Head gone for 19. 18 of which were made yesterday, and Wade 16, 2 to go this morning. Seen that before?
He's well organised. He picks up length very quickly, and he knows his scoring areas. Just sense that he thinks that he can come down the pitch and knock him straight over his head. He's going to play more responsibly.
Good running, both mid-on, mid-off, deep. Stuart Broad at mid-on. Extraordinary record that Steve Smith has, first of all in Test matches as a whole, and against England specifically. Just gone past 2,500 Ashes runs. Slipped past Ponting and Taylor in the course of this innings as Ashes run scorers. High Ashes run scorers. Then he adds the information that he's almost halfway to Bradman. Well, in Ashes alone, we're talking. Yeah, Ashes. 5,028. The Don. Bumble has a thought on that.
Well, he'll be the Steve.
That's all you need to know.
It's tidy from Leach, isn't it? Just a bit of control.
Look at that, mate.
When Leach has been slightly wide and a little bit too short, it's presented scoring opportunities. That was Fuller.
That salmon fillet.
That was more of a tempter, which was wisely ignored by Tim Payne.
Oh!
Back to that effective straight line. That's the line I think he should stick with more often. 3 runs from that over, 236 for 5.
What's the point? There it is. Standing room only. And the permanent temporary stand there. 8,500 it holds.
Well, that's so high, so short and so high that Maria Erasmus has no choice but to call it wide. So 1 ball into the over. We've still got 6 to go. He's taken that from the line that would have gone past the outside of off stump and just nudged it round again. But there again, as we keep saying, we've seen it before. It's what he does. He has the skill and the time to make it look so simple. Just look at this. He goes from round the wicket, the angles across to outside off stump by a good 6 inches or more. You almost think, well, surely if you just aimed at the base of leg stump Yorker, that might just have a chance of sneaking through. Tim Payne on the pull. Gets the one with the man out at deep square leg. And Steve Smith is on 99 and back on strike. George Alderson, I'm told, is the sub. Plays for Hyde Cricket Club in the Cheshire League. Thanks, Benny. Well, the misfield means that Steve Smith will take the one. He'll take the next one as well. He'll take the helmet off. He'll prepare to raise the bat. This man is incredible. He loves making runs. He loves making them against anyone, but in particular, England in the Ashes. Yet another 100 for Steve Smith. .2600s in Test matches. 11 of them against England, and just the 3rd in this series alone.
Well, it's entertaining. Prolific run scorer Steve Smith, ranked #1 in the world in Test match cricket. He's interesting, and he's worked it out. This is how I can play, and it's very effective.
Again, just across in front of the stumps. It's just looking at the expressions on that Australian balcony. They sort of seem to echo the sense of inevitability about this man making hundreds. There was a sort of awe, I think, on the faces there. Just sheer admiration that he keeps on doing it. Just confirming those career figures. 67 matches now. Well over 6,500 runs. The average is very, very high by anyone's standards, but especially by modern standards. And 50s and 100s. Well, the 100s outnumber the 50s. That's also unusual. 241 for 5. Now, the fact that Australia went 1-0 up in the series was so much down to Steve Smith. In the end, the winning margin at Edgbaston in a game that England initially thought they had under control was a huge one, 251 runs. And with the 240s to his name, Steve Smith very instrumental in that. This is where he scored his runs again here, and it's very similar. Way ahead. Way ahead. And he took again. minus Labuschagne. You can say he missed a match and a half too.
Come on here, Leachy. Nice pal.
Yeah, those are the ones that present scoring opportunities. Payne hasn't timed that. Well, it's found a way through. First of all, Butler at silly point had to leap out of the way to avoid damage. And there were two other men to whom it was pretty close, but even the dive in the end, not enough to cut it off.
Well, it's always a pleasing shot, this, for a batsman. Threads it through extra cover. Two fielders scrambling and diving. Placed it perfectly.
Two balls left until lunch. That's a good stop. Payne again on the drive. Might have been the last ball before lunch, but he's still prepared to play it. And Jason Roy's dive makes sure that it is just the one boundary for the over. That's it for the session. Still down. Still down, but he can... What he's done there, tidy himself up during the lunch break. Joe Root also showing signs of having been on the turf during that session. A session which saw Australia add 75 for the loss of 2. 25 overs bowled. Run rate has dropped a bit compared to yesterday, which just shows that England have managed to exert a little bit more control today. But they've found no answers to this man. Steve Smith, modest as ever, no grand gestures there, just acknowledges the applause from everyone here at Old Trafford, not just the Australian supporters. Malcolm Conn, the media relations man for Australia, former journalist, just pats him on the back to welcome him back to that dressing room, where I'm sure he'll be warmly received with his third 100 of the series to his name. He's not out 101, and no doubt when he resumes again in 40 minutes time, he'll be mighty keen to see how many more he can add to that 101. Tim Payne still there on 9. Head and weighed the men out this morning. Australia started the day on 170 for 3. They've eased their way to 245 for 5. But a pretty even session, I would say, that between the two teams. For England and the bowling attack, Broad has added one more to his tally today. He's been excellent throughout. The other wicket takers, Leach this morning, Overton yesterday. They've only got 5 to share between them.